Hi, and welcome to another Stoned Tech Sunday. On today's bake-friendly episode, we have this DR4d. This particular unit was mine. From about 1994, I bought it new with version 1. There were several upgrades. Ultimately, with version 3, we had a working system that you could use to replace a cassette or analog multi-track that would chase and lock to your sequencer. At that particular time, for me, that was Vision 1.x. This unit ultimately ended up with version 4 of the software. Yes, version 4.01 to be specific. I think towards the end of the 90s they did this. They upgraded this to the DR4d VR and added virtual track features. 250 additional tracks, of course, would not all play back. You could select which ones would be playing back, airing at any one time. It also added, version 4.01, added ping pong features where you could do mix downs with some limited level scaling. You'll notice this unit has a remote control on top. This remote control is of dubious value. First of all, it connects with this really kind of strange, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pin? Yeah, an 8-pin DIN, which is nice. I mean, it keeps things separate from your MIDI stuff. The reason why this unit was of dubious value was because you only could synchronize to one device, and this unit was a device that provided sync amongst multiple DR4Ds. Why is that a problem? Because you had MTC and you had LTC available to lock to. Unfortunately, selecting one of those automatically disabled the remote. Let's turn the machine on. Okay. We had a drive show up, device 0. Looks like there's some audio. This little LED or decimal point indicator means. Let's get to that in just a sec. Let's go ahead and look at the back and install the SCSI2SD card. All right, here's the back of the DR4d. Let's see if I can walk you through this. This is the SCSI bus. This is the bus that our internal hard drive is connected to. This, right here, selects the SCSI ID for the B unit and not the internal unit. But it does have a sticker here saying that the internal hard drive is 530 megabytes. I was extremely proud of the fact that I had a 530 megabyte hard drive when I bought this, because I could record practically an entire CD of 2-track audio. Seemed important at the time. Okay, in addition to that, this is the built-in digital I/O, and this is the optional digital I/O. These must be word clocked together in order to work. You'll notice that there is no word clock at all on this, so the only way to synchronize is to use the digital inputs, either SPDIF or AES. Those are selected via a menu on the front panel, which one of these are active, so just keep that in mind. You have a variety of a tip ring sleeve ins and outs here, one for each of the 4 channels, and some gain, -10 and +4. Back over on this side, we have some slots. This is the MIDI card. You'll notice it has in, out, and through. This is where you hook up any clock. Your sequencer will connect to here. Next to it is the optional SMPTE in and through. Notice there is not really an out. Here is the SCSI B option, and again, there's the ID for it. And the reason why this is important is this is where you would have hooked up your Macintosh if you were using WaveEdit. You had to select an ID for the board. The SCSI B port was used for backing up data from the SCSI A bus. Now the SCSI A bus is unique because Akai chose to stripe across multiple drives, which pretty much makes it impossible to reassemble the audio if you were to just read a drive. That's why Akai put the SCSI B bus in. The SCSI B bus was primarily used for backup purposes and getting data from the SCSI A bus, which was striped across as many drives as you had available and was pretty much unavailable for use directly. So that is what the SCSI B bus was for use with magneto-optical, CD, or whatever else was available that you could back up to, and the Macintosh that ran WaveEdit. Before we tear it apart, I just realized we probably should prep our SCSI to SD card. This is version 5. I'm going to plug this in to this computer that's running the SCSI to SD program. Okay, Catalina makes things a bit wonky, but pretty much all you got to do is plug in, you know, the SCSI to SD card into a USB port, and then go up here and you say load from device, and it just is going to do everything it's going to do. See, it's reading. Okay. Remaining time 0. I think you can just do this now. Alright, so as you can see, this card didn't come up with anything. So this card is unformatted. And of course, let's go ahead and make it, it's going to leave it a SCSI ID 0. Let's go ahead and make it 8 gigabytes. We're going to have a single partition or a single device on this SCSI bus, so we don't run into any striping issues or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and say yay, there you go. Alright, so I've made those changes. Everything else is pretty much default. If you wanted to change the termination on the board, you could do that right there. Right now I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on because the only things on the bus are the DR4d and the SCSI to SD. So let's just go ahead and save to device. There we go. Isn't that lovely? Okay. Now we're done. Let's put this device inside and go on maybe a small tour of the inside of the unit. Okay, now that we've got this device open, we've removed the hard drive and we have an opportunity to look inside of the device. Power supply over here, it looks like some input filtering. Looks that way, but we've got two supplies. Looks like we got a supply here and there. And they both go to this transformer. These are your analog input cards. They're stacked. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this section here so you can see what's underneath. Okay, I went ahead and removed the screws in the back that are holding these cards in place, and the screws around the side of this upper board assembly. You should be able to just pull this out. Look at me, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, let's try this again now that I've got both hands. All right, I pulled this out so we can look at these cards, but I did indeed pull the screws out of this assembly. Oh, it looks like I've got to make a cut here. Try this again. There we go. And look, we've revealed the seamy underbelly. Here is the optional digital I/O for the DR4d, and here on the main board is the regular old standard generic digital I/O. We also have some VLSI. I have no idea what the heck that is, and this is the Motorola DSP. It's a 56001, and this is a Toshiba variant of a 68,000, and it looks like there's some RAM here in zip sockets. Let's see if I can get a better shot. There we go. I think there's a total of 2 megabytes of said RAM. Okay, I set this board back in here. Over here we have the remaining slot for the optional SCSI B. This is the time code or SMPTE card. This is the MIDI card. This is the SCSI A board. It's very much like the one that goes into the SCSI B slot that's not occupied right now. All right, and this of course is where I'm going to put the SCSI to SD card. All right, I'm going to do that and button it back up. But maybe first, time again for Agent Orange. I will be using the drill press, so a suitable amount of time will be between now and the drill pressage. But I plan on relaxing because this indeed is Stone Tech Sunday. Okay, here's the drive. Let's just go ahead and get this ready. It really does look like the connector just lines up with the back edge, so this should be no problem. It'll be nice getting this drive out of here. Okay, let me mark this up. Measure once, drill twice, or yeah. Okay, it's been marked. I just need to drill some holes. Let's turn it on and smoke test it. Good, good. It's so quiet. Yes. And it found the device right there at 0. Uh-oh. I have no idea. It looks like there's audio there. How could that be? We need to format. We need to go submenu, format, 0, enter, format. That's what we want. Hit, and now we wait. Now might be a perfect time. Remember, we've talked about bake-friendly projects. Oh yes, a cup of Java on Sunday and a nice cookie. Stone Tech Sunday. My God, that took forever. The 90s did suck. Everything took forever. Well, let's see now. What you'll notice is it's finished. This was reformatted. Now, if you were watching that speed playthrough, that time-lapse thing, you'll notice that it didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. It finished formatting and gave an error. It still allowed me to view the disk and the data. What it displayed was a number over 24 hours. This can't do that. So I referred to the documentation. The documentation says there's a maximum 64 gigabytes of storage, but it doesn't matter because whatever the storage available is, it cannot be more than 24 hours. The whole disk drive is striped and I guess indexed according to SMPTE timecode. I should let you know that you get subframe accurate edits on this. You scrub in between frames, you can hear it. Now that it's formatted or finished, let's look at how much space we actually have. So let's go submenu. That says memory. Is that one it? Yes. 13 hours, 31 minutes, 29 seconds at I believe this thing defaulted to 44.1, and that's the other thing you might note. When you format a disk, you lose all of your index points and any settings, like what your I/O is on the digital inputs, and we'll go through that in just a sec. But anything else, index, in, out points, quick access points, what your sync source was, you name it, all gone. Okay, let's do a test recording. But first, given the fact that we have lost all of our parameters on our inputs, let's go ahead and set those up. Let's escape out of this and hit submenu. I believe, let's first set the sample rate, and that's right here. Aha, 44.1. Now, if I set this for 48, you'll notice that if you go and look at our amount of available time, that will have dropped accordingly. So let's go ahead and hit enter. Okay, now this is our test generator today. It's putting out 48K on both this AES port and this SPDIF port here. And next step will be to set our input formats. Okay. Submenu, digital in, RCA. That's good. That's the correct input for digital inputs 1 and 2. We can hit enter. Submenu, digital. This one will be XLR because I'm using the XLR on this test generator. So the test generator puts out on both the XLR and the SPDIF simultaneously. Enter. We should be able to enable the recording by turning those on and switching the inputs to digital. Digital. Okay, notice how one channel is noticeably higher than the other. It's the Q box. It's not quite as accurate as you'd like. That actually is down a whole dB, even if they're equal, because the metering here is pretty coarse. Let's go ahead and hear it. We have a 400 Hertz tone on this side and 1000 Hertz on that side. So left and left, 400, right and right, 1000. Let's go ahead and see how long it records for, shall we? Let's turn this down. I suspect if this is going to fail, it's going to fail as I am looking at it right now. This is starting to look good. All 4 tracks at 48K. I don't recall if I said this before. I had to limit the size of the card to 4 GB because 8 was too big. I don't know if I mentioned this before. The converters, the A to D converters, are 16-bit, but they are 64 times oversampling delta sigma, I think they're 5th order delta sigma modulation. So they're really a nice converter, and they really have a nice flavor to them. I can't say enough good things about how this particular unit sounded. The D to A converters are advanced 1-bit, 18-bit, 18 times oversampling. Yeah, they sound great. As you can tell, several hours have gone by and this is still recording. Okay, let's do a test of the playback and then we should be done. Turn that up a little bit and return to 0. Look, I have the little decimal points lit up indicating I've got data on all 4 tracks. And let's hit play. I've got playback. Let's turn it up. That just sounds like tone. Damn it. Oh, what does this do? What if I do this? I'm enjoying this. Wow. Scrubbing. We'll see you next time on Stone Tech Sunday.